Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to a new episode of Philo. I believe we are on episode 36. Wow. Episode 36. Good for us. We are on the second story. I have my guest artist already. This is Steve Troop from Melonpool.com, and he's been doing like comics since forever. Mostly Melonpool. And there's your caption, that says today's guest, Steve Troop. Cartoonist and puppeteer, and that's how you spell Melonpool. I say cartoonist and puppeteer, but you build puppets. You teach how to build puppets. You have done your cartoon many times. You've also done animations and got into puppets because of your comic strips. So it's pretty cool. Like a lot of stuff going on. So okay, let's do a quick recap. That's his screen. Let me do a quick recap, and I gotta open up the page. Hi, I've been blown away by your streams. Your energy, skill, and positivity have made me a huge fan. I love to support you further by putting you in the community. Add me to your Discord. No. Okay. Ban. All right. Sorry about that. Okay. We are gonna open up the page I just made. So then that way I know exactly what we're doing. Okay, where we left off in the story, and let me do this so then that way you can kind of see it, and I'll zoom in on the panels. So you'll love this. It starts out with a spaceship crashes, right?
Yeah.
And then Philo emerges.
This is the part I saw part of already.
Yeah. Philo eats some mushrooms and they communicate with him. Don't eat me. Right? And then we are toppings on the same huge pizza, they tell him. Philo tries to ask for help, and so he's saying, I need to get my rocket ship off the planet. They take them to their god. And then, so it's Cthulhu Shroom, right? And that was the end of the first episode of story 2. And then Philo explains the situation. Philo explains the situation. And he's doing interpretive dance and stuff. And then Cthulhu Shroom lifts Philo up to his eye. So where we left off, Philo crawls into the eye because it's comic books and we can do that. And then there's the world within the eye. And everything the god has seen is in the eye. And so he had seen Armand, which is a previous character, which is the octopus there. And then Armand takes Philo to a spaceship warehouse in Eye World, which is right there. And then meanwhile, the dog is playing dice with the mushroom people. So we can go in a couple different directions with this. We can choose to stay with the dog, or we can go back to Philo and the spaceship.
Mom, go flying!
That's my daughter.
I think we have our answer. No.
I go flying.
I kind of think, and I'm just I think that going to the space parts Orama would be a mistake at this point, because what are we going to do? Look at a bunch of things on shelves. I think it's kind of interesting to follow the dog and his dice game for a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we could do the dog and his dice game.
And then we can cut back and forth between the two. So
yeah, I feel bad I didn't send out any promos. We're probably not going to have a very large audience tonight, so it'll probably be you and me going back and forth this show. But that's okay. I could be boring and be typing the whole show, but
perfect opportunity to just do a show of us drawing.
No, I will let the audience know why I didn't get my Philo work done.
Gotcha.
And so that is because my mother surprised me yesterday with, I'm coming into town on Sunday at 12:30 at the airport, pick me up. Oh, by the way, I'm staying with you. And so it's so we had to clean up the whole apartment. Because it's there's you're comfortable living there, and then it's your mom's showing up, so you gotta clean. You gotta say no, I actually live at this standard, not this standard. So
This is when you
Oh,
rent a
so
second
pleased.
apartment just to have your mom think you live there.
Oh, yeah. Like I can afford that. Sure. Okay, so do you want to take the first panel, or do you want me to take?
Why
the
don't
first
you
panel?
take the first panel?
Okay,
and
I
then-
will take the first panel then. Okay, so we're gonna stick with the dog and his dice game, and so I'm thinking, snake eyes. And so yeah, like, would that be good for the dog? Would that be bad for the dog? I don't know. Do you know anything about craps?
A little. I mean, it's like, it depends. You know, if you hit snake eyes and you're trying to get something else, then it's bad. But if you get snake eyes at first, I think you're okay. I don't know. I'm pretty dumb when it comes to that, to be honest. It's been probably 20 years.
Sevens and I want to
7s
say
and 11s.
Yeah, 7s and 11s, but like snake eyes will break that, right? I don't know all the rules, but what Ian has taught me is if you want to make money at craps, you show up at the table and you do side bets that the dude's gonna lose his money.
Yeah.
And you will make money because you are betting with the house.
I see. Occasionally I've played and it's paid out where if they're trying to get, like, say, an 8, then you do like hard 8 or, you know, hard 4 or stuff like that, and then maybe it'll pay off because it's pretty good. You know, it's like 8-1 or something like that. So
yeah. Let's see. Oh no. Okay. Good. It is working. All right. I was worried that my little pad. I have a little art pad thing. That I use. I don't know if, like, what's your setup for your Cintiq?
So my setup is very basic. In fact, I don't even know that I know how to rotate the page.
Mm-hmm.
I do so little art these days. But I'll swap it to my other view so I can show you. So this is basically it. I just have, let's see.
Here.
I just have it set up. So this is like my little.
Ooh, you got a zoomy camera. That's nice.
Well, it's my old iPhone.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I have my tablet here. I have a little mouse. And then usually this is where I'm like cutting out puppet stuff. And then I have just a little bit higher up, I have my little black magic thing so I can swap camera angles, and that's basically it. It's nothing.
So in my panel, I'm going to draw the dice. For your panel, I'm thinking, like, we got to decide if the dice are good or bad for your panel. Right? So,
how about I have the dog, like, thinking it's super happy, you know, like super glad, and then all the mushrooms are looking at him like angrily, like he's in a bad spot.
you know, at the same time, like, if we go back to the previous panel, right? Like, let me turn that one off.
Yeah, let's see that one.
Oh, there she is. There's Robin.
Hello.
Hi, Robin. Robin, this is Steve. Steve, this is Robin.
Hey, Steve, nice to meet you.
Nice to
Yes.
meet you too.
Steve is a fellow cartoonist friend of mine I've known forever. We used to date.
So mature of you to be able to still speak. That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, we're cool with each other. Anyway, not the snake eyes right there, but you can see, like, I have him with a little pile of money and the visor.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if he's doing well or not with this. And then I also forgot to send out all my promos, Robin. So we're probably gonna have a small audience tonight. So I'm sorry about
Oh,
that.
good.
But yeah, so that's kind of what I was thinking.
How about
like,
having all the mushrooms eat all his money then? Because he's just lost the bet.
Because he just lost the bet. Oh, I like that. Yeah. Okay, that is your
That's a
caption.
good idea.
That's your caption.
Yeah,
Is the
Can
mushrooms eat
you
his
put
money.
that panel you had before up so I can just get a screen grab real quick?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Here. Let me do this, and then I'll do that. You don't have to worry about the dialogue. I guess I could turn off Snake Eyes.
I can remember how to do it.
I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. The whole house is sick.
Yeah.
Baby girl brought something home from Kid Care, and we've just been passing it back and forth.
I love
And
that
so-
I can't.
And
There we go.
it's the time of year where the days where it gets super hot and then super cold, and then you're in air conditioning and you're sweating and
Yeah. Did
It's
you get
just,
your screen
yeah.
capture?
I'm trying. It doesn't seem to be wanting to do it. Let me see.
It's okay.
Pretty dumb.
Well, it might be because we're streaming right now too.
It could be. It could be.
a
Yeah.
lock on
So,
that.
I
But-
got it. Just a second. I'll just take a picture of it.
Yeah. I love technology. I
Yeah.
love living in the future.
Got it.
Awesome. Okay, let me turn Snake Eyes. Yeah, I love technology. I love living in the future. I say that all the time. And it's something that like really makes me excited for the time that we live in.
It can be
You know,
helpful.
Well, we have flying
Sure.
cars and jetpacks now.
Yeah.
We do.
You know, it's like, to me, that's the future that our parents were promised.
Did you?
I think I remember maybe it was about 10 years ago, but I was just like, wait a minute. We got that Dick Tracy watch we always wanted, and no one is even talking about it.
Yeah,
We got the new iPhone watch.
yeah. What were you gonna say, Steve?
Well, did you see Fallout? Did you see that?
Oh, I haven't seen it yet. No, I have a little one, and it limits my
No, I get it.
media consumption time. So it's on my list. I've heard very good things about it. It's just
Well,
that
the
we
cool
just
thing about
haven't
it
sat
is
down to
that
watch it yet.
that whole aesthetic is like the 50s idea of what the future was going to be like, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I saw a YouTube video once that broke it down, that the difference between the Fallout universe and our universe, where the like break happened, was the invention of the transistor. That never happened in the Fallout universe. And so that's why everything's big and bulky, is
Kinda
because
tubey.
it doesn't have smaller microchip technology that came from the transistor and the invention of the transistor.
Okay.
I mean-
so just question. What is my caption again? All right,
Your
it took me forever.
caption is the mushroom people eat the dog's money. And so yeah, I'm making Snake Eyes have like little skulls on top.
The dog is apocalyptic.
Is there any like awesome comic news that we're missing this week? I know Baltimore Comic-Con's going on this weekend.
Yeah, and that guest list is wicked awesome. Like, there's Fan Expo up here, and they do a really good job. They get a lot of interesting people. And the last con I went to was TCAF, which is like the Toronto Comic Art Festival, which is a huge deal. But seriously, that Baltimore con is ridiculous, the amount of people they're having there. Or at least interesting to me.
And then there's also, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember what convention he went to. Jay Fosgett is at a different convention this weekend than Comic-Con.
Well, last weekend SPX?
I think it was.
Yeah. Because Ariel's got a bunch of pictures she's posting from it. I finally got to see what Rich Tommaso looked like. That was a big deal for me.
Nice.
I'd never met him. He's doing a lot of work lately, but in the beginning he was pretty reclusive. And I always was a big fan, and I found it hard to find his work. Never knew what he actually looked like, and she posted a photo of him, and I was like, oh, nice to put a face to the art.
That looks bad. All right, we'll do that.
Rich was one of the very first artists to do like alternative comic porn. He did a comic book called Cannibal Porn through Fantagraphics. But he's done a lot of other stuff since then, and his stuff is really good.
Yeah, gosh, I wish I knew more about like modern artists and stuff like that, but I find myself kind of drawn to older comics these days. And I'm just
like, which one?
I don't know, like, you know, comics, I mean, I say older comics, but comics that have been out for years.
You mean
stuff.
like Funky Winkerbean? No, I'm just kidding. Just for numbering purposes, mine would be 26 or 36-2, right?
You don't have to worry about just the file. Worry about naming the file like episode 36, but just say it's panel 2.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that's cool. That's fine. Thank you. All right. So I'm done with Snake Eyes, which means we are going to make a new panel.
Okay. This is about as far as I've gotten on mine, but it took me a while to get.
No, it's gonna take you a little bit to draw. This is
Oh my
okay.
God. That's awesome.
Yeah. No, Steve taught me a lot about cartooning. And
Should we tune into Philo and see what he's up to for the next panel?
Well, let's see. Okay, so they're eating the dog's money. Yeah, we can go back to Philo.
It's like a really good cliffhanger to end it to see like what's the dog gonna do next.
Okay. Yeah, let's do this and then
And I don't mean like a cliffhanger of the issue, but just a cliffhanger of the panel.
of his story. Of his story, definitely. How was your day at work, dear?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, it's madness right now. Now that football started again, apparently our weekends are super busy. But I think they'll chill out, I guess, once barbecue season is over, which should be in another couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Work is crazy. But I got to go where I work with the olds, they had a massive COVID outbreak. That's great.
Oh no, you didn't get sick, did you?
No. It was going around the week I was out on my vacation.
Well, yeah, then you dodged a bullet there. Yes, my love. I see it, dear. Yeah.
But there's a used bookstore by that job. I got a bunch of comic books for half price, which is really nice.
Nice. Annabelle.
Your pink door.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry.
That's awesome.
She's gonna be 4 in November. So we're right at that age where everything's super exciting.
What is she saying? Pink Dora or
Pink Door? Yes, she's playing.
Pink donut.
She's playing Goat Simulator 3.
Oh,
and so
okay.
she found a pink donut in the game and she was sharing it with us.
Nice.
And she found a pink donut. And so yes.
That's adorable.
Let me put Steve in the big panel because he's actually working on something that's interesting.
Yeah.
So the first book of the stack that I got that I'm reading right now is the an autobiography of Stan Lee, written by Peter David and illustrated by Colleen Duran.
Yeah.
Now, those two I really admire as artists and writers. And so I was asking around in one of my groups. I'm in this like comic historians group.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's the story with this book, this comic? Like, were they drinking the Stan Kool-Aid or was it work for hire? And it was
money.
It was
money's
work
money.
for hire.
Yeah,
exactly. Because it basically reads a lot like how Stan Lee talks, right?
Yeah.
It's a hell of a lot of hyperbole and, excitement. But one of the things that I really love about it that Colleen Doran did,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to see if I can find one. Kevin who? Hello?
Do you know who Kevin Altieri is?
I've heard of the name, but no.
He was he's probably most known for Batman the Animated Series. He's a friend of mine who directs a lot of animation and he does a lot of storyboards and animation. He's worked with Bruce Timm for years. But he was also the showrunner for Stripperella.
Oh, great.
So he he shared a story where like the producers, which was Stan's company, kept cutting the budgets for Stripperella and and they basically worked miracles overnight for that. Hey Amber, Daniel Morning. Oh, hi Daniel. Hey, it's good to see you. Yeah, I didn't even send out invites and he showed up. Thank you.
Nice. Nice to see you too.
Yeah.
So what I was trying to say is Colleen Doran, I don't know if you know the artist, but she does a lot of like really, really gorgeous fantasy work. She's worked with Neil Gaiman. She's done her own series of Distant Soil. Like her work is like really quite beautiful, and she's been around since the 80s. Like I've got a Spider-Man comic she did that's just gorgeous, and also she's done stuff where just like stuff for like romance comics in the 80s you can find here and there. But so what I really love about what she's done with this Stanley autobiography, here it is right here.
Yeah.
If you want to put me in the big screen.
Oh yeah, sure.
And so when she introduces certain people like Jack Kirby, she turns it into like a romance comic panel. Like it's so gorgeous. Look at him.
That's great.
He's super handsome. And he was a war hero. He was a pretty kick-ass dude, but it's just like, oh, it's so idealized and beautiful. I really like that part of it.
I've mentioned before how his war drawings, his sketches that he did in the in the trenches and stuff is my favorite Jack Kirby work. But
here's her panel when she's introducing Steve Ditko. Look at how dreamy he is.
Oh, very nice, very nice. What I was going to say about Kevin Altieri though is that they kept cutting his budget, right? And so when the show came out, it ended up being a strip, or it ended up being a hit, I should say. And so what Stan did is he had pictures of himself taken in front of like the animators' tables and sent out publicity and stuff like, oh, I'm animating, but I guess he wasn't even in the office the entire time. Yeah,
that's Stan. He's
Okay.
really good at taking credit for stuff he didn't do.
What's your question?
What's this thing on the dog's head?
Oh,
a visor.
It was a visor.
Like Jordy's?
Like a poker.
Like
or
a
like
poker green
gotcha.
visor.
Okay. Great. Okay.
Like Data used to wear during
Got
poker.
See, I don't understand things unless you put it in Star Trek terms.
Yes, I understand completely. So yeah, I love those drawings by Colleen Doran of all the different creators. Is it like is Steve Buscemi, or not Steve Buscemi? I'm sorry, Steve Buscema.
I haven't gotten that far into it. I'm only at the part where he's talking about how he invented everything. Basically. He wanted to do a comic about a Frankenstein character, but he was a smart Frankenstein. He created the Hulk. He wanted to do a comic about an industrialist because everybody hates an industrialist, but they would like this one. So he created Iron Man. He wanted to do it. Like it's just like, okay, Stan. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Stan. Yeah. Okay, Stan. But at the same time, the man
he earned his way. He earned his way.
And one thing that he did do that cannot be taken away from him is he made comics cool.
No, you know what I think he did that precedes that? He gave comic heroes humanity.
Yeah.
And he says it in his own comic, like when he's talking about it, because I think that's what separates Marvel from DC.
Yeah.
Is that, Spider-Man has problems, man. He can't keep the girl. He can't tell anyone his secret. His grandparents are usually pissed, his aunt and uncle are usually pissed at him because he's welched on some commitment. He's suffering at school. Yeah, we know that. But you know what I mean? Like, he's got all these problems, and the fans can relate to that. Like, what I mean? They can find themselves in there. I mean, Daredevil's blind, even though he's got powers. So, like, you've got disabled people that can relate to that. So there's all these levels that Marvel operates on that DC doesn't, that I think...
Well, and I mean...
sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say how X-Men have kind of been adopted by the LGBTQ community as
initially they were adopted by the civil rights community because that was what they were, is they were mutants and they were constantly being harassed and hurt for being that.
Anyway, what were you going to say, Steve?
I was going to say, do you think that a lot of it is kind of the Mary Sue thing that DC has going on? Like Superman, at least at first, was invincible. He could do everything. He was the best. Batman was the best detective. You know, you can figure out everything. The Flash was the fastest man in the world. You know, that sort of thing. And it was like, whereas the Marvel guys, they actually had some vulnerabilities and problems that I think got you more relatable. I think that was a lot of the big divide was you know.
Well,
really...
I mean, the Fantastic Four were a family that fought like a family.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. They, you know, it wasn't, we're going to go in and save the day. Like if you ever read the first Fantastic Four comic, when they're going up against the creature coming out of the ground and shit like that, you know, they're fighting all the way through it. And it's almost like they luck into a win. And, and it's like, you know, I'm sure that at the time that was revolutionary.
I think what was revolutionary as well about the Fantastic Four, a female superhero, like part of the crew, not delegated to somebody's girlfriend. No, she had like, maybe she didn't have like a ton of opportunity to flex her stuff, but she was there with the group as a peer. But the other thing is when you think about the thing, like all these kids are probably sitting going, wouldn't it be awesome to be a superhero? Think of all the things you could do as a superhero. Like this is the ultimate fantasy. And the Thing gets this opportunity to be a superhero, but he's like this hideous rock monster who no one recognizes as what he was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of interesting depth in these stories.
Well, yeah, they, you know, it allowed us to be able to see from the outsider's view.
And relate if you were an outsider.
Yeah. Okay, so
well, like, who can relate to Batman? Batman's super rich. Who can relate to Superman? He's an alien. The whole point of those comics are that you escape fantasy. Like you think of yourself probably as better as you could be. But one thing I thought that was really interesting is I remember reading an interview with Grant Morrison, and they were asking him why he was doing superhero comics, because of course he kind of like made his bones in indie comics.
Yeah.
He was like, he honestly believed that superhero comics he were doing was because he felt that these superhuman beings were going to come and join us on Earth at some point, and the comics were going to be like a primer for them, like to help them understand us and how to behave towards us and like how to treat us, you know. It's like that's an interesting theory there, Grant Morrison. Very interesting.
Well, he was the one who did the Invisibles, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, you know what spawned that story? Okay, this is from Writers on Comic Script Writing, right? By Salisbury. This is him being interviewed about it, right? The beings from the Invisibles floated through the walls of his bedroom and came in and told him the story, and he wrote it down.
Isn't that what what's his name, John Smith, said when it came to the beginning of Mormonism?
Yeah. Anyway,
an angel came and told me to write this down.
So where I'm at in the story is we're back to Philo, and he's looking up at something, but I don't know what he's looking up at.
Okay, and he's looking for a nacelle, right, or something like that.
I guess parts for ship. You know, I guess
that's right.
Yeah, we don't really know what a ship looks like. I've been drawing kind of a rocket ship thing, but I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of a sea duck looking thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have Armand there back to Philo. So maybe they have to go up a huge ladder or something. I don't know. Like.
Oh, okay.
What if it's like Laputa Castle in the sky? It's like a giant castle in the sky, but the ladder takes him up there. That's why they're looking that high up.
Okay.
Back to Philo. His caption is, and he's going to be looking up at the this like Laputa Castle, right?
Yeah.
But his caption is, Philo thinks he might be afraid of heights.
That's a great caption.
Yes. And so, and then I got to jump onto a new panel from there.
Okay,
figure out what I'm going to do.
So he's looking up at a, let me just sketch it out real quick. So the idea is basically we're going to have Philo and, what was the other character's name? Or I can just have
Armand. Armand's the octopus. He's just an octopus. Yeah.
But he's like a portal opening, time traveling dimension hopping octopus who is also a fantastic DJ and bartender.
More of a portal finding one. He didn't really open the portal. You know, he's
I didn't
just
know
like,
that.
Here's the portal.
Sorry, my mistake.
That's okay.
A portal sensing DJ / bartender.
Yeah, I hope you guys don't mind. I'm mukbanging a little bit here. This is my dinner.
Dude, I totally think that all the time when I eat on this show. I'm like, man, if anybody was into that and watching this show, I'm always eating.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, but you also come home from work and rush to make it home.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, it's dinner time for me. So I should probably
I was spending some time with my nephew after work today, and he is obsessed with these really stupid YouTube videos that are all like superhero stuff. You know, it's like some dude in the Philippines changes color and he's like Hulk, but he can't speak English, and he's like Hulk Smoosh. Or this guy in this really bad Thanos outfit just running around, and another guy dressed as Daredevil just running around after him. Like, they're just really mindless videos. Now, admittedly, my nephew is almost 3, so...
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Meanwhile, he goes over and he starts being rough with his mom, and he wants to, like, bounce his cousin around, or his brother around, who's only, like, 3 weeks old. His mom's like, I don't know why you're like this. And I'm like, these violent videos where they're fighting each other all the time.
That's why my daughter watches Grizzy and Lemmings. You know,
I don't know what that is.
It is a French cartoon about a grizzly bear and lemmings that live in Canada. So I'm surprised that you don't know about it.
Yeah, me too. It's just called Grizzly and Lemmings?
It's called Grizzy and Lemmings. And they're like Tom and Jerry cartoons.
Oh, okay.
You know, they're really silly. They usually find like some kind of magical device or something. And so the lemmings will have fun with it. Grizzy just wants his salmon, and they have like it's like I don't know if it's Nutella, but it just says yummy on the label, and they fight over that. Mm-hmm. You know, and so they always end up getting their comeuppance at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what happens after Philo thinks he might be scared of heights?
Is that mine?
That's your caption.
So that's kind of where I'm at right now with that. Will that work?
I think that works. And then your caption is Philo thinks he might be scared of heights.
Perfect.
Well, the mushrooms have to tell him that his ship components are up there, and then he has to make a choice. Brave his fear to get his ship fixed, or he's SOL, and we have to figure out another thing for him to do.
Well, I mean, I guess he would just start making the climb, right?
Yeah.
You know? So Philo...
maybe he's like absolutely terrified and shaking, and the mushrooms are like supporting him as he's going up. There's like all these little mushrooms trying to keep him from falling, because he's just like, so.
I also noticed that Philo lost his mushrooms, and so did the dog. Because I forgot to draw them in.
You can put them in now. It's all good.
Yeah, and so let's see. I
mean, he was on a trip. It's kind of given that the mushrooms were around him.
Yeah, but he went into the Emporium too. So, okay, back in a bit, doggy atrocity in progress. Okay, there's a doggy atrocity in progress. So, Buck Finster Crabtree. That's the name that Daniel Murray.
What the hell? What's a doggy atrocity? Or does he?
I don't know. We'll have to find out. Yeah, we'll have to find out. Okay, so, Philo thinks he might be scared of heights.
That's funny. It's too bad we can't exploit that further. But having him terrified works as he climbs up the ladders.
He braves forward anyway. There. He braves. I done turned that noun into a verb, I did. And so... Yeah, let's do
He
this.
journeys forward bravely anyway.
I like Braves Forward.
Okay.
You know, it lets you know what's going on. You know, I can be lyrical with my language. You know, I can have fun with it. Yes. And so I guess we're just gonna have like a spiral
Did I
staircase.
show you
here.
my
you want a
Joe
staircase?
Pickle
I have a big old
ketchup last
ladder.
week?
Oh no, I meant a ladder, but I'm just making it
Okay.
like look all crazy and stuff. Here, I'll put you in the big panel.
I'll just have it going up through the roof. I'll make this bigger so it just goes up through the roof, and so you could be on the other side of that hole.
Okay, sure.
Continuity
So what were
be
you
damned.
gonna say, Robin? I cut you off. I'm sorry.
I can't remember if I showed you this last week. Did I show you this last week?
Yes, you did. Yes,
Okay,
it's very
I'm
strange.
just pretty excited about it.
Is it okay? Is it good?
It's excellent. I've had it with French fries and I really love it.
Mm.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was going to show you the other comics I got half price.
But then you guys also like your ketchup chips up there too. So,
Yeah, we're weirdos. Ketchup chip. What is that?
but I will die on the hill that honey garlic sauce is delicious. And,
Not wrong.
and you don't understand. It is not available down here like it is up there. Yeah, it's amazing. Like the way they make it up there, like that sauce is not available down here in stores. And so
Okay.
it's something that, you know, when you've lived there, it's strange things you crave when you move away from a place.
Oh, I know what you mean. When I think of the places I've lived, 9 times out of 10 it's usually memories of the food. Okay, so I got this weird thing. I don't know if it's like it's a Belgian comic in English. Came out in the 80s. Let's see here. Reading the translation stuff here.
I guess I'll put air conditionings on the roof so you know it's a roof.
It was first published in Belgium in 1981. And then this is the English translation from 1991. But it's this really strange anthropomorphic book comic. The duck is like a detective hanging out at this like dog bar. And this dog girl, she's a singer, but she's dying. And then like her singing draws in this like bear who's really like mentally deficient. But every time she sings, the bear goes berserk. And so other people try to capitalize on it. It's a really strange story. But it's very European when you look at it. It's very European.
Yeah, I like the art.
See, I was a big fan of Valerian. Not so much the movie, but the
the actual comic.
the actual French cartoon, which is
Yeah.
like one of the
Sadly, I must be a weirdo because I liked that movie. I found it
I
quite
didn't mind
fun.
the movie as much as a lot of people did, but it still was not as cool as the
No, of course not.
Never is.
So that's that one. And then I got this one, the first collection of this Batman Superman, because it's entirely illustrated by Jay Lee, who just has like a really distinctive style that like no one else does.
I
let me
just
tell
saw
you.
him. I just saw him in Artist Alley at Denver Fan Expo.
Nice. I'm jealous.
Yeah, and you know, it's weird. It's Jay Lee, right?
Mhm.
You'd think that there would be people all over his table, but he was just like standing there working on one commission. And I'm walking up and I'm like, you know, like, oh man,
Look
like,
at that. Superman
I get a
and
minute.
Lois Lane.
Yeah.
Do you want
I
to see
think
some
that's-
really obscure Jay Lee art?
Oh wait, that's
Yeah,
Bruce
sure.
and someone.
What's that?
That's Bruce Wayne and somebody, I guess Selena, but still, it's fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
Sorry, what did you say, Steve?
You
Ah,
want to see some really obscure Jay Lee art?
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Ah!
Holy shit. Well, I have Hellshock. I thought that was his earliest stuff. But I have a bunch of Hellshocks, so holy
That was
cow.
96. That was 96. So
Yeah,
You got him to do the back cover for
yeah,
you?
yeah. We
that's
actually tried
awesome.
a bunch of people. We got Doug TenNapel to do one too, but we could never
Oh,
find anything.
that's cool. Earthworm Jim. Very nice, very nice. Let's see, and then I got this Serenity comic that I hadn't seen before, so I try to get all the Serenity stuff
Nice.
because that series was excellent.
Yeah.
Even though we canceled cultured Joss Whedon,
Yeah.
still good stuff. Okay, and this one's really cool. So this is Twelfth Night by Shakespeare, but it's illustrated modernly by John Howard. And I don't know if you know who John Howard is. Have you ever heard that name before?
Not offhand.
Okay, so he did a comic called Lesbian Biker Chicks. And it was like
Okay.
super pornographic. I think it was published by Fantagraphics through Eros. But yeah, like when I found this, I was like, what the heck? Anyways, I've since become friends with him online on Facebook through another friend of mine, Robin Bougie. And so I think it's really cool that I have like this legit comic by him. But I also have a bunch of lesbian biker chicks.
As you should.
Because good art is good art. I mean, like, check this out. It's nice. This is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
Twelfth Night is actually a really funny play, if you've ever...
Well, it's
seen
one
it.
of his comedies, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, at the same time, don't forget that The Merchant of Venice is, at the time he wrote it, a comedy, but now it's played as a tragedy.
Yeah, I took that in junior high, and I always thought that was a tragedy. I never thought that was a comedy.
No,
But
it's in his comedies. Because
Yeah,
because the Jew gets screwed at the end of it. That's
Oh,
the
that's
joke.
hilarious. Hilarious.
That's the joke.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think so. Well,
No,
I'm glad
I'm not saying
they
no,
play it as a tragedy then.
Yeah, but like I said, now it's played as a tragedy, as it should
Good.
be, because it is a really tragic story that the one person that got wronged in this case still gets wronged simply because of who he is.
Mhm.
You know, and it's you know, it's a good story. Like I feel like even though it was played as a comedy in its time, there's still the speech that he gives at the very beginning of have a Jew not hands, have the Jew not eyes, if you prick us, do we not bleed? Right? That's Shakespeare recognizing the humanity in Jewish people. And realizing that they're not monsters, they're not blah blah blah, you know, which again was a view of the time, right? But it was a view of the time, which is why it's a comedy that he gets screwed at the end of the story. You know, it's
not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore. Yeah. But
Here's another one I got. I don't know if you've seen this series, the Little Gotham series.
No.
By Dustin Nguyen. The art is fabulous. It's all watercolor. It's gorgeous, but it's like, you know, little Archie comics basically, but like it's the superhero version.
Nice.
There's some art here if you want to look at it.
Oh.
Okay, I think I'm done with panel 4.
Yeah, I'm working on panel 5 right now, so you would be on panel 6.
Okay, so what's panel 6?
All right.
Wait a second, let me get set up.
Sorry I'm late. We at the Northwest Cartoonist Group virtual meeting where Chuck talked. We want to get Amber talk in the group. Donna Barr thinks she knows Amber. I do know Donna Barr.
Oh yeah.
I know Donna Barr.
Donna and I shared a hotel room at San Diego Comic Con one year.
Oh, that's cool.
And I shared a bed with Roberta Gregory. And the thing was, I was young at the time, right? And I'm like, I'm in this room, and it's Erica Moen, it's Roberta Gregory, and it's Donna Barr, and it's me, all in the same room, right? And I'm like, these people are all famous. Ah! Okay, so let's figure out what is for panel 6. So panel 5 is he braves forward anyway, and I'm having him crawl out of the roof and up towards the Lapida Castle. Chuck and me told the group to check out Philo. Oh, thanks, Dale. That's very nice of you.
I got to stay at Roberta's house a few times. I've interviewed her once.
Oh, yeah, very cool.
We've hung out quite a few times when I lived in Vancouver because she briefly dated the guy who used to be the co-host of my radio show, Colin Upton.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just always loved Bitchy Bitch.
Mhm.
Always. You know, I found one of those comics in like a dollar bin at a comic store when I was like 15, and I was like, this is awesome. Okay, so he's climbing up. What happens after he climbs up? You know, is there trials along the way, like the 12 trials of Hercules?
What do you have in there in that panel right now?
So, because they're in
no,
Island.
the trials. No. You said that you wanted more things to be where he does things versus have things happen to him. And a series of trials would be things happening to him.
Okay.
It's a good idea, but I'm just pointing out our aim for this story arc.
Okay, forgive me, but I'm watching this on my phone, so Steve's head is smaller than a dime. Sorry, but I don't recognize Steve. Hi, Steve. Amber, who is Steve? Steve is Steve Troop.
He's the guy with a small head. No,
yeah. Steve Troop from Melonpool. And puppet builder, puppet teacher, cartoon teacher guy, and artist. When I met him, he worked for DirecTV in their art department. Now you're doing something for some guy where you're doing all of his creative editing and stuff.
Oh yeah,
that sounds like Kay. Isn't Kay doing something for some guy where it does all this editing and drawing?
More like it's just something that happens. Like working on a project, but you know, right now I'm basically freelancing as a puppet builder and a puppet teacher. Is that better? Now my side of a nickel at least now.
Yay! at least it's a nickel. Well, you know, he is watching it on his phone. So cool. Nice to meet you, Steve. So Dale, you got to help us out. What happens after, you know, he starts climbing the ladder?
Shouldn't you show, like, he gets to the castle in the sky, like what it would look like when he gets to the top?
Well, like I said, does he go through anything? It's a long ladder.
What if he like I see all this stuff floating around in there. What if he accidentally gets like loses his grip and finds that he's weightless?
Well, I have Armand with a bunch of balloons.
Oh, is that what that is? Okay. I saw that thing over the side there. I thought it was like a mannequin head with a couple of boxes on it.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be the roof. And then it was like an Easter Island head floating.
Oh, okay, like a moai.
yeah, exactly. So it doesn't make a lot of sense, but that's okay. You know, it's a comic strip. So
sure.
Why is the ladder not a DNA strand? I don't know, because it's a ladder.
Because it's actually a snake.
Yes, I figured. I speak typo, Dale. Thank you. He was correcting his spelling on ladder.
Yeah, I like this kind of Twilight Zone-y realm that they're in. That's
so
the eye in the book.
It makes me think of like a Dali painting.
Even
with the octopus, even with the octopus being air ballooned up, or helium filled ballooned up.
I guess. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this. So, okay.
So I like the imagery of Armand with the balloon. Please don't lose it.
Okay. Well, maybe he offers a balloon to Philo or something.
And they both float up together?
Well, I mean...
He could fall and get caught by Armand.
A gust of wind knocks him off the ladder?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, a gust of wind knocks him off the ladder. Ladder, as Dale has corrected his spelling.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, it's kind of like a Easter Island head. I don't know. I'll do that.
Okay, I have 3 more comics to show off.
Okay.
This is a drawn and quarterly one called This Is How to Disappear by Miron Mallet. I'm assuming she's French.
Yeah. How to Disappear?
I haven't read it yet, but it looks pretty neat.
Yeah, I have a trans friend who shared a story that they were in a library and they worked there, like they're a librarian, right? And this one old lady that they were talking to in the library was talking about how they transitioned way back in the 60s, and there's still an open missing persons case for the person they used to be.
Oh, Jesus, that's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah,
That's
but,
weird.
you know, like...
I get it, but that's, like, their poor family.
Well, and I imagine that it was probably not a very supportive family of a decision like that. But again, my friend was sharing the story because they were sharing the story in solidarity. But you know, just how like what people had to go through. It's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. You said you had 2 more comics?
Yeah, I just say I fell the other day and I have this massive disgusting wound on my knee, and I've been trying to keep it clean and also healing it and polysporing it and hydrogen peroxiding it, and it's good. It's a gooky thing. But anyways, okay, so the second to last one is a Brian Michael Bendis Michael Gaydos comic called Pearl. It looks typical Gaydos, but I like the coloring. It's different coloring. I think I'm wondering if he's being influenced by David Mack. Like, look at this. Look at the stock cover here. That's total David Mack-ish.
Yeah, it's interesting. Dale says in the old alternative press expo and gun shows, they would sell booklets on all kinds of survivalist crap, and some were on making fake IDs and new identities.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember that. I've seen a couple zines of you know, some craziness. And then what was the last one? Or is this still the second to last one?
Yeah, it's still the second to last one. Yeah, I don't like Gaydos is okay to me. I get really annoyed by people who go to reference and it looks like it in the drawing.
Yeah.
But this one actually looks pretty interesting. Like, I haven't looked to see who the colorist is, because I think that's the big difference in this, is the coloring is just a little more interesting.
Well, I mean,
it looks like Gaydos did the coloring too. It looks like Gaydos did the coloring as well. So that's pretty cool.
Alex Maleev is one of those artists that uses a lot of photo reference, but I still kind of love his stuff. Really?
I like it too. I have a lot of his stuff in my collection. Actually, he did the only Crow comic I have where it was like a female crow.
Yeah.
I do quite like Maleev's work. I have quite a bit of it, but yeah, it's really great. There's quite a few of them that do it, and I've stopped sort of buying that stuff just because when you have other people that do like way more interesting stuff that's in their own specific voice, and because I'll give you an example. I know for a fact Colleen Doran uses photo reference. There's without a doubt, but it's still so distinctly in her voice that it doesn't take you out of the story. It doesn't make you go, oh, they do that from a magazine, or that's obviously from a photo.
I mean, the same is true of Bill Sienkiewicz, right? You know, Bill Sienkiewicz uses a lot of photo reference in his stuff.
Yeah, but his art is so in your face him. Yeah.
Exactly. And so I think that people who think that an artist needs to be able to draw without photo reference aren't really artists.
I've never met any artist that said that was the case. That they ever
Exactly, but people who are like,
and I'm not saying that they can.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I know a lot of people do. It's just that it's just so annoying when it's so obvious.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, I kind of know where they're coming from, because if you're deadline driven, you want to get as much artwork done as possible in the short amount of time possible.
Well, I guess I'm just spoiled by guys like this here that I expect a little bit more from my comics. Like this one. This one was pretty interesting. I haven't read it yet, but boy, do they got a lot of really good artists on this one.
Nice.
It's called The Scumbag, Volume 1, Cocaine Finger. It's written by Rick Remainder. Came in 2020. But what attracted me is the fact that it's got Andrew Robinson, Eric Powell. That's the guy who did The Goon.
Yeah, I know Eric
the other two guys. I don't know who the other two artists are, but I just love Andrew Robinson, so I know that it's going to be good.
Yes, my love. We have a guest. We have a guest.
I hear gurgling.
Yes.
Hi.
Yes.
Did you find the pink door?
It was a pink donut that she was looking at.
Oh, pink donut. That's a whole different ball of wax.
So you have a gust of wind knocks Philo off the ladder.
Yeah, and I'm having the gust of wind being blown by the Moai because I like the Moai.
Let's see. Amazing how much can come from the non-cute end of a dog. Yes. Yes. And so, let's see. So he braves forward. Let me do this. And then, he's knocked off the ladder. And then we were going to say that Armand was going to save him, right?
Yeah. So I have Armand right here with the balloons. Right. Sorry. I got on my wrong layer here. So this is Armand with the balloons. It'll make sense when I ink it in. So
I'll say Armand, my hero.
yeah, and he's up here in the foreground. This is him getting blown off the ladder. This is the ladder.
Oh, okay. This is the dog atrocity. Was amazing how much can come from the non-cute end of a dog. He says puppy had an oops. And Dale says, Paulo Rivera, Google his wacky reference Wednesday blog post, uses photo reference, 3D models, poses, toys, selfies, etc.
I actually have quite a few Paulo Rivera comics. He's very good. He was more of a painter like Alex Ross. But he's another one that has a distinctive voice. Dan Burton, another one who does superhero comics, who obviously uses photo reference, but it doesn't take you out of the story so much because you're not getting bludgeoned by the fact that it's actual humans being traced.
Well, I mean, there's a difference between using reference and tracing reference. You know, Alex Maleev, I could see why you're bothered by his stuff because he does trace and then he uses a lot of like filters and stuff to make it the contrast and add texture and stuff to the actual photos, so he's not like drawing the photo, you know. So I can see that, but at the same time, you also have people like David Mack who uses a lot of photo reference in his stuff to the point that you have people posting, you know, photographs that he's used in Swipe File saying he swiped this image, and it's like, but he turned that image into, you know, the Scarlet Witch and Vision. And it's not the, you know, original characters that it was in the photo ref. Like, he changed it. He used it as reference. I don't know. It's just, I'm very forgiving of photo reference, I guess. I don't know. Let's see. It is surprising how much, as a pet owner, you have to deal with their butts. You'd think cats are less butt trouble, but oh no, says Dale.
No kidding. I just paid $350 because my cat's anal sacs are infected.
I didn't know it was one of these podcasts.
Did you get? So you got that fixed?
I don't know. I have to give it a couple of days because she's just today finished her antibiotics.
Okay.
But she made it very difficult for me to give them to her. Like initially, I was putting them in. She doesn't like treats, but she likes tuna, so I was putting it in tuna. I was kind of hiding her regular food so she'd eat the tuna first, and then gave her the regular food. And everything was working out for a while, like about a week, and then she just kind of decided that she didn't want to do that anymore. So then I had to just grab her and shove it down her throat with the syringe, and she, of course, didn't love that. But then she started hiding on me.
Well, I'm
thankfully
I'm
we
glad
were
she's
done this
feeling better.
morning. So yeah, I have to check because I looked at it 2 days ago and it still looked kind of pussy infected. So I gotta.
And Dale says, "See, cat butts are high maintenance. Kitten butts are the worst."
Kitten butts. When's the last time I had a kitten? Oh yeah, Jim was a kitten. But no, you know the worst thing she had, because I found her in the garbage next to my apartment when I lived in China. So I took her to the vet, and she had a shit ton of ringworm. And it was kind of interesting the way they could tell is they used like purple light, right?
Yeah.
So she stayed at the vet's for like a week or so while they took care of her. And I was like trying not to cry every time I saw her because I was always like, just wait 1 week and you're gonna have a great life. Because she's like, stuck in this vet clinic in this little cage.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, poor thing.
But yeah, she did survive for 5 years, and then she passed away quickly.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But
yeah, it was tough. I was really upset about it because I was like, I felt cheated. I was like, she should have lived a lot longer, and I wanted to have more time with her, and I wanted her to have more time. She was starting to really enjoy life in Canada. I had to get all her teeth removed because it was so infected, and so she was really like enjoying eating again, I guess, because her pain was gone. But she, like, when I took her to the vet, he was like, she's older than you think she is because she has all this arthritis, and I was like, no, I got her when she was a kitten. Like, I could hold her in the palm of my hand. She was so small.
Yeah.
So, like, nobody scammed me. And then the other thing was that he showed me her kidneys, and one kidney was twisted up like a figure 8, and the other kidney was like a triangle, and they're supposed to be the shape of kidney beans, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, he was just like, she's a street cat. Like, there's genetic deformities and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it's
because of inbreeding and
exactly
all different kinds of stuff. We had Harry the sickly kitten for a year. He had a life, says Dale.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. In the end, like, I was really upset, but one of my friends pointed out she probably lived longer than she ever would have if you hadn't have found her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she had a really good life for 5 years, so that's the best you can do.
Yeah. My old cat now, we realize he's like 12 now, which is, he's starting to get up there in age, and he is so fucking spoiled. He's so fucking spoiled. He had, his teeth started to hurt, right? So now he gets fed exclusively in wet food, and he likes the gravy. That's his favorite part. So he gets like it in the gravy, like the super gravy wet food. So he licks up all the gravy and then leaves the meat for the other cats.
Think.
Yeah. He's so spoiled.
That's funny.
Yeah, I totally admit it. I admit that I have spoiled my cat, but at the same time, he's 12 years old. He's the last of the California cats.
Yeah, no, they deserve to be spoiled. I mean, they give us so much, right?
Yeah.
I think. Like Arya, my current one, I got her from a hoarding situation, and she was like 2. Now she's like 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, she's around 8 or 9. And she, like, it's taken a really long time for her to trust me and get to the point where, like, she'll come and lay down next to me and purr, and she'll want scratches on the belly and scratches on her head, and she'll let me, like, hold her and stuff. It's not perfect, but it's really good, and it's taken a lot of time, but he loves them, and it worked out.
Ian used to have a roommate who had a cat that was very similar. It was a street cat that the roommate kind of wooed in and stuff. Cat would not want anyone to see it, right? Cat's name was Caution.
Yeah, good name.
Yeah, and so you're like, oh, it took all this time and stuff, but sometimes you have cats like that. See, Dale says, when Harry was a kitten with butt problems, again, with the butts, Dale, I would clean his butt, then carry his butt first to the girlfriend for a butt check. Sabrina was not into the butt checks. I would chase Sabrina around the house with Harry with his butt exposed. Harry loved butt checks.
Poor Sabrina. What did she do to deserve that?
I wish I had an answer.
I feel like Armand and Philo should kiss in your panel there.
You feel like they maybe the next panel they should kiss?
Yeah, they're just staring deeply into each other's eyes in your current panel.
Yeah. I'm trying to give Armand some texture. Let's see. And then in hilarity ensues. Now, is this puppy related hilarity? Or is this...
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is Buckminster.
Yeah.
Buckminster puppy.
Yes.
Poop hilarity. Hey, poop hilarity. Well, we have a almost 3-year-old who we're starting to try to potty train poop, and the poop side of things. He's good with the pee. He's got to learn the poop. And I was trying to get him to go outside without the pull-up because I was like, we're just going to be right outside the front of the house. We're just going to do chalk drawings on the pavement. And he lost his mind. He would not leave the house without a pull-up. And I'm just like, it's okay if you have to poo. We'll just come right back in. It'll be okay.
Yeah.
No, just wouldn't do it. Just got so upset.
That's funny. Let's see, let me do this, and then just to kind of add like Twilight Zone-y feeling to stuff.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, are you using like texture and stuff?
No, but I'm doing a lot of Twilight Zone type stuff.
Yeah, it's great minds, great minds. Yeah.
No gray, no nothing. I'm pretty.
You know, they actually just added a Rod Serling statue in his hometown where he grew up. That is him. It's a bronze statue. It's him at the door for the Twilight Zone. And so the door is open, and he's like at the door, and the door is open.
Halfway in, halfway out.
Yeah, exactly. It's a really cool statue. Really good likeness of him.
Do you want to know something interesting? Is apropos of nothing, but there's like a really interesting Nikolai Tesla statue by the Niagara Falls.
Yeah,
Niagara Falls.
It gives free Wi-Fi.
It does?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, look it up. It gives free Wi-Fi.
I am gonna look it up. I live right next to Niagara Falls. Do you think I would have heard that?
Let's see. I should probably take that out of his eye, and then we'll give him I don't know. We'll give him like
no, that's terrible.
What?
Sorry, I was looking it up, but someone smashed an Ai Weiwei sculpture at one of his shows in Italy. Do you know who Ai Weiwei is?
Yeah, I do. He's the one who smashed the Ming vase and dropped it and took pictures of it to talk about basically the impermanence of art.
Yeah.
Yeah. There should have been.
And also the fallacy of tradition in a country like China that went around destroying tradition quite willingly.
Let's see. I believe I'm on panel 9. Let's see. There is a Columbus statue.
Are you on 9? How'd you get to 9?
I'm on panel 9. 6. You should have 2, 4,
6. And then what's 8 then? I think you're lapping me.
Let's see. Wait, just give me a second. Okay.
This one's almost done.
8 would be them kissing. So I can take 8.
Okay.
Yeah, and we'll just leapfrog each other. That's okay.
All right, so that one's done. This guy's done.
If you're done with it, then you're on the kiss, and then I am on 9.
Okay, I can do 8.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe I'll take a little break. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, so what would panel 8 be? Panel 7 is this, my hero.
Wait.
Whoa.
Holy cow. I think we've already covered the kiss.
Well, I mean, okay. Like,
why do birds suddenly appear?
Does this mean that Armand's beak will reappear for the kiss?
All right, I'm really, really, really sorry, Madame.
Am I wrong?
Sort of. There is a Nikolai Tesla statue in California that radiates Wi-Fi in the Silicon Valley, but not the one by Niagara Falls.
I got them mixed up. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, it's cool. So, they're both Nikolai Tesla. And I make mix-ups like that all the time. The other day I was telling someone that Strange Fruit was sung by Nina Simone and that it was a big deal and blah, 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 blah. No, and it was. She did cover it, but the big deal was Billie Holiday.
No, they the FBI followed her and like ruined her career and stuff.
Yeah, but that was
because
Billie
that's-
Holiday that they did for Strange
Yeah.
Fruit. They did
Yeah.
Nina Simone for a totally different reason,
Oh,
more
yeah,
about
yeah, no.
her civil rights activity. But yeah,
no.
I messed up.
You're-
I confused the two.
Let's see. Kiss or smooch. I liked Robin's new Facebook profile pic, says Dale.
Thanks, Dale. That's when
All
my
right,
friend Jania and I, we went to an apothecary speakeasy in Toronto.
So okay, so I guess you're drawing the kiss. Is they kiss is your panel, your caption.
Yeah, we know
Okay.
what Strange Fruit refers to. I was explaining it to a 20-year-old who reads a lot, and he hadn't really explored anything in the alternative comic book world. So at the used bookstore, I found a Black Sad for like $8. So I got it for him, and it was the one that was all about racism. And at the end, they sing Strange Fruit. And so I was like, that song is actually a real song. And
Yeah, I mean,
You were saying Strange Brew.
No, I know I'm Canadian. Come on.
How much longer does this go?
Okay, so
Here's a weird Canadian fact. Did you know that Paul Chadwick did the storyboards for Strange Fruit?
Who did?
I did not know that.
Paul Chadwick, the guy that did Concrete Comics.
It goes for another 15 minutes or so. It's an hour and a half show, so not too long.
I didn't know if I needed a restroom break. So
okay, no. Yeah.
You can though. We've all done it. We've all taken off to go to the bathroom.
Okay. Well, then he's going to draw the kiss. So then what happens after the kiss?
Well, they reach the top of the castle and they're amazed by what they see around them.
Let's see.
And we talk about the kiss at a later date. We're going to save that for drama for later. But right now, we've got to focus on dealing with their surroundings. For example, the denizens of this Laputa-like castle, are they nice or are they assholes? What's going to go on there? Or do they have to
they're not even to the castle. They're not even to the castle.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's why we don't need to discuss the kiss just yet. Have them get to the top.
Maybe that should be my panel or my caption is, let's not discuss the kiss. Because, technically, Philo is cheating on Bluto.
Technically. But this could be an alternate reality, Philo, seeing it's a new story.
No, I know what I'm going to do with that.
Okay.
I want to bring Bluto into the mix.
Oh, you are? You are
just
going
a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. And, so I guess they just don't discuss the kiss, right? And it's just...
Well, that's what I'm saying. If they get to the top, there's a reason to not discuss it. They're at the top and they've got to deal with it.
The awkward moment after, is that my caption? Is that my caption, the awkward moment after?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish Dale was more help. Dale.
Yeah, he's just chilling there.
Yeah.
And what about Buckminster Crabtree? Is he going to add anything from the peanut gallery?
So he has like a regular squid beak?
Again, he's an octopus, and so he's been drawn with and without a beak. So, I am very loose on continuity with this.
Technically, the beak is at where his neck is. That's where the beak is on an octopus.
Yeah, it's in the center of all the arms, actually.
Yeah.
And then, have I ever really been any help? Says Dale. You have. You've been on the show. You've drawn.
That's the most helpful thing of all. Not everybody has the tech to do the show.
Yeah, see? Yeah, I might have Steve Bryant next week.
I don't know who that is.
Steve Bryant did
a different Steve.
Or he still does I just know a lot of Steve.
Okay? That's the third Steve. That's the third Steve. Stephen Notley, this Steve, and the Steve you're talking about. That's 3 Steves.
I just know a lot of Steves. Anyway, Steve Bryant does the comic strip Athena Voltaire. And he's worked on other stuff as well, but that's the strip that I learned of him with. And he's just a cool artist guy that I know. And so I'm trying to get cool artist people on the on the show to draw. And so trying to get him next week. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get him next week. We'll see. Yeah, I guess it'll be the Philo and Steve show. If they're smooching, then tongues should be wiggling and split playing and little cuties hovering nearby gagging, says Dale. So yeah, there should be.
That's a really Mad Magazine way to show love there, Dale. And in the corner is a buck-toothed Cupid gagging.
Let's see. I saw Mad Magazine in the store the other day. I had to wait for my prescription to get filled at the pharmacy. And like it had not a single new comic in it.
That's the point.
Right?
That's the whole thing. They relaunched it with nothing.
It
was that or nothing. I mean, that was the alternative. Was no Mad Magazine.
I know, but it's like it should have new comics. Even
yeah, but then they gotta pay for that.
Yeah, and aren't they owned by Disney now? Or is it Warner Brothers? They're owned by Warner Brothers now. So
Warner Brothers. So it's DC.
So they're not going to.
No, the relaunch in LA had new material, says Dale. I don't know. I didn't see any new material. See, I am going to put stars in their eyes, though.
One of my favorite cartoonists in Mad Magazine was this guy called Herman Mihawk. He was really good. But he was later years. And Peter Cooper, of course, doing Spy vs. Spy was pretty wonderful.
Yeah. I always liked the Spy vs. Spy comics, no matter who was drawing them. And even when they introduced the third spy, that was the chick that always outsmarted the two of them
both. Yeah.
Yeah. I was still behind it. I always liked Spy vs. Spy. My actual least favorite part of Mad Magazine were the movie parodies. Because oftentimes I hadn't seen the movies, when I was a kid. And so I didn't get any of the jokes. So I'm just like, these are just caricatures. And now as an adult, I look back at them and I realize how beautiful that artwork really is.
It's really accurate in how he got their faces.
Yeah. I mean, you can learn so much about caricature from him, and it's subtle, the exaggerations he does make. Right. But they're just enough to make him cartoony and recognizable. And he can still draw them from different angles and you still recognize it's that character, it's that person. And so, yeah, I think that's cool.
All right. I made up some time here.
Good. Yeah. And again, I'm kind of going along with it.
Why do birds suddenly appear?
I like him thinking of Pluto.
Philo's near, just like me. They long to be close.
Not a bad Pluto from doing it complete from memory either.
Yeah, it's not a bad Pluto at all. I have to have Total Reference open whenever I draw Pluto.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess that one's done.
Yeah. Okay. So, I'm on panel 9 now, which means you're on panel 10.
Okay.
We only have 10 minutes left, though, guys.
Yeah. So I think you're probably going to be the last panel, Steve.
Okay.
So what happens after the kiss? They kiss, and then
they go into an absolutely dark
awkward moment after. And then I have the awkward moment after with stars in Armand's eyes. And I think I'm going to give Armand little hearts around him.
Okay, let me see yours real quick.
Oh, here, let me put it in the big window. Oh, Dale says, I was talking to Bill Morrison and Sergio Aragonis about this, damn it. DC closed the New York offices and moved it to LA, and Bill Morrison from Bongo was the new editor. I talked to a couple Mad artists at an NCS event, and when they killed Mad, it made it a zombie magazine with old material For a while, the new Mad with the new logo had new material. Damn it. Well, this was definitely the old Mad with old material that I saw in the store. It was disappointing.
All right.
So are they still climbing up? Like, you know,
they need to go through.
Well, at some point they have to get to where they're going. When we want that to be?
Oh, wait, we do have a suggestion from Daniel.
Okay.
Kiss, dolly back, then camera pans to the fireplace.
That they left behind?
I think that's going to be the panel we're going to leave off on. Is
that my fireplace?
Dolly back
on a bearskin rug?
Fireplace. No. We're just going to show the fireplace. You know, and I think that's what you're gonna draw is literally your caption is dolly back, then camera pans to the fireplace. I think that's
if I can actually
perfect
get
caption.
this thing to text.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect caption.
Dolly back. Let's see if I can spell. Dolly back.
Dolly back, then camera pans to the fireplace. And what I'll do is I'll have Armand getting a little handsy here.
That would be ticklish.
Make me actually draw something.
I'm sorry, I love it.
It's a very dark room. We're just a fireplace.
Well, I imagine it's just a fireplace floating in the
Yeah, see, I was thinking like a bearskin rug floating next to a floating fireplace when you originally said it, but
well, if the camera pans to the fireplace, that's why I'm thinking drawing just the fireplace.
Okay.
You got 7 minutes.
Okay. This could be the first panel of the next one. No, okay.
Yeah, and you know,
I think I'm keeping up pretty well for somebody who hasn't drawn regularly in years.
Yeah, I know it's tough. It's not an easy thing to do to draw on the show. I'm totally. I will be the first to admit that it is not an easy thing. Let's see. Do that. Okay. Wake up, Robin, says Dale.
I'm awake.
Yeah.
But you're right. I was nodding off. Come on, I got 7 more minutes. I'm getting there.
I believe in you.
Oh, yeah, what are you overlaying?
Oh, I'm doing the Twilight Zone
background?
Like background, yeah, like the texture of the Twilight Zone. And so I'm erasing it from all the foreground figures so it goes into the background. Because that's the technique I'm using, I guess. I don't know. It's weird. Like digital art is different than regular art. Than
it looks like quite not easy, but like once you figured it out, it makes things smoother.
Yes and no. There's things that it's just so much easier to do on a sheet of paper, like perspective. I find easier on a sheet of paper, which is why I was going to say that Clip Studio Paint has perspective tools that I use because doing perspective in like Photoshop's like a nightmare.
Do you do much brushwork, or did you never really get into that as much?
No, I inked No Stereotypes with the brush.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and but you're a brush inker, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, Winsor Newton Series 7 Sable.
What's that? Windsor Series 7 Sable. Yeah. I actually have in the other room.
See, I told you it is the brush of artists in comics.
I'll tell you what, though, back in the day when I was doing regularly, I was always spending like about every 3 or 4 years, I would spend like $30 on a brush.
Dale says Clip Studio Paint has shitty perspective tools. They need serious work. Maybe we should do a tutorial sometime, Dale, because I figured it out and it's not bad. Anyway, I cut you off, Steve. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
it's okay. No, so I was saying that I used to spend like, $30 on a new one about every 3 or 4 years, just so I had a new brush. And then I discovered on Amazon you can buy them like 2 at a time for $13 now. And they're the actual official Windsors. So I was like, okay, well.
Yeah. I know. It's my dad had a membership to Blick.
Oh,
And
yeah,
so-
I remember.
Yeah, and so the catalogs would come, and in the catalog, in the Blick catalog, it was $13 for Winsor & Newton Series
Okay.
7 Sable. And so I would, when my dad would put in his order for his acrylic brushes and stuff, I would sneak in my watercolor brush on the order, and he'd be like, "What? This $13 brush?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm sorry, Dad. It's good. It's meant for comics. It takes ink really well, I swear." Here, let me show the fireplace. Let me show what you're doing with the fireplace. Oh my gosh, I love the mantle. You even put an Easter Island head on the mantle.
I did. It has to all be cohesive. Neither their feet, just so you know.
Are you gonna add like little hearts and stuff, or?
Sure.
Yeah. Clip Studio Paint's perspective tools have no circle represented field of vision. The grids suck. There is a way to use the elliptical tools in the perspective in Clip Studio Paint. And so the elliptical, like ruler, where you can draw ellipses and stuff, you can lock that into your perspective in Clip Studio Paint. And then that way you have the exact circle at the exact angle you need to do it. There's also the classic way of doing it where you just, you get your angles for the square, and then you cross the square, you do your,
So the one that I found recently, the guy online, I don't remember what it was for doing animation backgrounds.
Yeah.
And they did this cool thing with, let's see if I still have it set up. It was the polygon tool. Where was it? Is it this? Nope. Where the heck did they move the polygon tool to? Or probably where it always was. Oh, here it is. Yeah, so I have it set up, and you set it up as like this. The star tool, polygon tool. Yeah, see how I did that? It's like 100 points, and then you can, you have like 100 points set up, and then you can just basically use that as a grid. It's pretty cool.
Well, that's very cool. And then Robin, sleep cam active, and then no, I'm talking about the cone of vision coming from your eyes, says Dale. With Clip Studio Paint, you can actually make perspective. You make vanishing points on a plane, and then you can lock your lines to those. So as you're drawing, say you add 2 vanishing points, so you're just doing 2-point perspective. Depending on the direction of your line, it will automatically lock to that perspective. So if you're going up and down, it's going to go up and down, right? But if you're going towards the right, it's going to lock to the perspective of the right vanishing point. If you're going towards the left, it's going to lock to the perspective of the left vanishing point. So it's really great to not have these long lines going across your art, and being able to do really detailed stuff. And so the way that Dale has used his perspective tools, though, is he uses the 3D models, and then he will set a box into a plane and then allow that to be his perspective. But I use the traditional method. It's like drawing with pencil. It's just that I have a ruler that locks.
I see.
And that's nice. Yeah. And so I'm gonna.
All right,
I
finished this
I'm gonna
guy
turn
up.
off.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn off Robin Cam. We are right at time. Good night, Robin. And so, Steve, thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome.
And drawing and dolly back the camera pans to the fireplace, I think, is a wonderful end to this episode. Um,
And perhaps the series. No.
So thank you everybody in chat. I appreciate Buckfinster Crabtree and Dale, and we had a couple other people pop in. No Meat Beep this time, but that's okay. Thank you. Buckfinster Crabtree says, you're welcome, which is nice. And so thank you very much for joining me, Steve. I'm gonna close it out. Let me close out.
All right, I'll send you the
our
file.
screens. Yeah, and then you'll send me the file, and then I'll build pages with it. So
awesome, sounds good.
all right.
All
Good
right.
night, and to everybody out there in TV land, good night. Have a good one, and I'll see you next week.